I do have I'm going to walk you through a really special announcement all about the runway and kind of a little like turn that we are taking, something magical that's coming in September. What I'm going to do is actually kind of like stall at the end of the training so that I can separate them if I want to on video. And but I'm going to tell you all about what's coming your way in the runway and the very special offer that I have until the end of August. It's huge. It's huge. I've been like giddy over here. Those of you that are already in the runway, you already know, and I think you're already excited. Okay. Today, I wanted to talk about force versus flow in your business and really in your life too, because I think it's the reason why I decided on this topic today is because it just keeps coming up. In Tuesdays at 2, we talked about it yesterday. I mean, inadvertently, inside of one-on-one conversations that I'm having with my clients, even inside of my own life and business, I'm seeing shifts. And the thing is I think what happens so often in businesses, and I think really even bigger in network marketing and direct sales, is that we get really forceful because the container almost forces us to be that way, right? Like all of our incentives are monthly, all of our promotions are monthly, or we're kind of organized around a year where you're running for something like a trip or a promotion or something like that. None of it really kind of like flows into you do you and you work you when you want to work you. And so I think it almost fits us into this container. And I've talked about this before, that notion of masculine and feminine energy. But what I'm really trying to work with my clients on is figuring out how that works best for them. Because I think when we're working in flow, everything is easier, everything is more magical, everything clicks into place if you can find your flow. And what's interesting, the masculine energy, right, is like the structure, the to-do lists, the what you need to get done, like the things, like all of the things that kind of build the structure of something, all of the things that keep it in line, keep it moving forward. It's masculine energy. And it really is in our society what has been kind of rewarded for years and years and years and years and years, right? Like that's how you go for promotions. That's how you get like sales targets, all the things. It doesn't mean you can't get all those things by working over here, because I actually think the beauty happens when you marry masculine and feminine energy together. And I can tell you that a few years ago, I was all, even up to maybe like 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, I was all masculine energy. I would go into these masterminds. I would start working with new coaches. They would talk about this notion and I'd be like, yeah, I'm all goals. I'm all to-do lists. I'm all this. Like that's the energy that I embody. And so first, before I talk a little bit more about that, like feminine energy is kind of just that flow, that following your intuition, following your gut, knowing what comes next, dancing inside of like things, like just loving on your energy, having so much fun. It's pleasure. And so a lot of people would question, like, how can you build a business over here? In fact, for years, I wondered, how do you build a business over here? I would look at other people that were like dancing and whimsical and all the things, and I would think, but like, you got to get shit done. And the truth is, you do have to get shit done if you want to build a business or you want to build a life. That's totally true. So over here, when I was living inside that masculine, I'll never forget the very first coach that I worked with, no, second coach that I worked with, but the first coach that I really deep dove with, where I paid the big money for. And one of the very first weekends, she was like, listen, like we got to get you off your phone, because I was like always strapped to my phone. I was always responsive, always doing the things because I didn't know any other way, right? On the outside of this picture, it looked like success. I hit every single incentive. My paycheck was amazing. My team was booming. My personal business was booming. But on the inside, all of that hustle felt and looked like exhaustion. It looked like not being present with my family. It looked like really just being a slave to the things that I wanted to happen inside of my business. And this was even really after I had started my coaching business. So you'll notice that probably some of my earlier work, it goes more towards that area of energy. And I hope that for those of you that I'm following my journey for a couple of years, what you've realized is that there is an easier way, that you have seen me transform. And so what she said to me, she was like, okay, listen, we got to get you off this phone. So I'm going to get you to put down your phone on Friday evening and not pick it up again until Sunday. And I was like, oh, I can't do that. Right? The world will cave in. My clients will need, my customers will need me, like all these things. Like I need to be there for and to make the things happen. Right? I need to be there to push the needle forward, which is that force, which is that hustle, which is that like have to, that should, right? That structure, which is all masculine energy. And she said, no, we have to start to get to we need you to start learning to live in trust, to to trust what you have built, to trust that it can't all go to shit in a weekend, to trust that like if you build yourself up, there's going to be even more. And what I've realized over the course of the last 2 years is that when you give yourself space, when you allow flow to take over, all of a sudden, that's where the magic, that's where the spark happens, because you all of a sudden, like, have you ever noticed that when you're in the shower, you get your very best ideas? It's because you're not doing in those moments, right? So all of a sudden, like you're calm and you're peaceful and you're enjoying, and the ideas start to come through. And that is intuition, right? That's magic. And those are actually the ideas that you want to run with. And so there's just so many, I wanted to talk about the masculine and the feminine. And then I kind of wanted to talk about like, what I think we need to understand is that females are different than males, right? So males have like kind of that consistent energy source inside of them, really. I mean, maybe a little bit different for different ones, but females, we are cyclical creatures. So whether you look at the moon and you follow the energy of the moon, which I've done for a while, but I find it a little bit challenging because you really do need to like follow the day to day, or you follow your cyclic energy, which means you follow like kind of your cycle, and you know that at the different stages of your cycle, there's different kind of energy that comes into play and different ways that you can serve yourself. When you start to serve yourself based on your cycle, you serve yourself at a higher level. We had an expert trainer inside of the runway this month that did an incredible training on this. So that will be available for anybody that hops in, and I highly recommend listening to it because it was like a mind blown to me. Like if I could work in different ways around the different ways that I was feeling, I would actually be moving things forward a little bit like more. Now, the next piece of that puzzle, because there's just so many things, is like I read this book called Soul Modes, and I would highly recommend this for any female. Whether you're in business or not in business, it's Soul Modes, SOULMODES, Carly Murray. And Soul Modes is all about how every single female has 4 different modes inside of them, and that we cycle through those modes in the same order all the time, but every single mode almost is a different human that you live into. So there's super mode where you were like, get shit done, make lists, you're masculine, right? And you just feel like you could take on the world. And then after that, there is sparkle mode where you're like, want to be really present and loving with your family. You want to do the things that like make you feel good, like you're really grateful for life, all those things. Then there's wild mode, and she actually tells you exactly who these modes are inside of a business relationship. So wild mode is like your CEO. She's your big thinker. She's a little bit crazy. She's got the big ideas and stuff. And then the last one is bear mode, where you're almost in hibernation mode. And this is where you overthink things. This is where you kind of criticize all those big ideas that wild mode had. And I think when we can start to realize, and whether you follow the moon or you follow your cycles or you follow soul modes, it doesn't really matter. I think the underlying notion to that is that we are not the same woman every single day of the month. So when you wake up, knowing who you are that day, knowing how you're feeling that day, how you desire to move forward with your day is the number one factor that's actually going to make you feel good, right? And I think we all criticize ourselves for not living in this super mode every single day, right? We're like, well, what? Yesterday I got like this done. Like I cleaned out the fridge. I like knocked off all of my like follow-ups with my customers. I set my agenda for the thing. Like I decided I was going to sign up for a fitness routine. And then like we criticize ourselves when the next day we fall off all of the goals that we set up for ourselves. So we feel like a failure. We feel like, oh, why couldn't I just get that thing done? And what we don't realize is that we're just in a different energy inside of our bodies. Right? So we were never meant to do all of those things the exact same way, the exact same days. So rather than like coming down on ourselves, rather than feeling bad about what we did or we didn't do, what we need to do is like maximize the mode that we are in. And this has been the thing that has spoken most to me, because there's actually ways, and I really, really encourage you to listen to the book or read the book, or both like me. And because if you maximize each of those modes, they are powerhouse modes, right? Like when you are in the super mode, getting shit done, like that's obvious why that is so powerful, right? And it's interesting because what I'm starting to notice as I'm really paying attention is that my modes will be slightly different based on my cyclical energy, right? Because sometimes the modes can be a day, sometimes the modes can be half a day, but you will feel yourself move out of them. And bear mode has been the biggest eye-opener for me, because I would just think that when I was in that mode, I would just think like, oh, maybe that's my truth, right? Maybe I really am not meant to do these things. Maybe I'm really should feel like worried or scared or fearful of all those things, and it would knock my confidence. What I'm realizing now is that that just gets to be where I work through the things that I need to work through in order to get myself to that next level. So whatever comes up for me when I'm feeling like that, I dig into, rather than like trying to like push it to the side, rather than deciding that it's my truth. I dig into it, I ask myself, and I actually try to heal that, because I think before we can get to these next levels, we have to heal all of those things inside of us that hold us back, right? That like, and we talked about this a little bit last week inside the Dancing with Our Fears, is that they will start to resurface every single time you kind of click into a new level. So we do want to uncover them. We do want to explore them. We do want to allow ourselves to shift inside of them. And so that has really been like massive eye-opener to me. And when I'm talking to my clients, it was an interesting conversation this week inside of Tuesdays at 2, where one of the gals was talking about, okay, but like, what if it all falls apart, right? Like, so her energy was feeling really drained inside of her VIP group. And you guys know that I coach on that 5 posts a day at different time slots. That is a masculine container, right? That is what I know will lead you towards success. But it isn't always going to feel good inside of your energy. And so like, real moment here. Here's the real moment. I coach to that because I want to get your businesses off the ground. I want you to feel that level of success so that you can find yourself in your business, right? It's never going to be a place where you can show up in your business like 2 days a month when you feel like inspired to do so. We do need to build masculine containers for ourselves inside of our life, inside of our businesses, so that we almost give ourselves the freedom to live inside of these masculine containers. But there is going to be certain times in your business where you are going to know better. So thank you. For when we talked about this yesterday, she has been running her VIP group successfully for over a year now, 5 times a day, blah, blah, blah. And her energy has just been feeling drained. And we know right now, because I'm working with her one-on-one, that her VIP group isn't really the focus of her energy right now. The focus of her energy is on growth, finding events, booking events, bringing new blood into here. So I said, well, what would it feel like you did a couple less posts for now, because nothing is forever. A couple less posts, which shifts your energy and frees it up for another area. And she's like, well, you know, what happens if that means that the Facebook algorithms will make it so like, well, what if you just let that go and you decide that that is going to be enough? Right? Because all of a sudden there's many things that can happen. All of a sudden she shifts down to 2 to 3 posts a day, but she's freed up time, she's freed up energy, she's freed up her intuition, and maybe those 2 to 3 posts a day will have so much more power than when she was trying to bang out 5 a day. Right? Maybe all of a sudden her people are going to be like, so tuned in because her energy is shifted in such a powerful, positive way. We get to follow our intuition. We get to follow our energy. And what I said to her is, that's not forever, right? You may shift down to 3 because your priority is over here. And yes, I'm going to say to keep those lights on strategically in the masculine container. Let's keep those lights on. Let's still keep that VIP group alive. But over here, now she's freed up this energy. And she's like, I've really always wanted to do TikTok videos, but I've never had the time or the energy or the space because I'm so absorbed over here. What if those TikTok videos are the thing that skyrocket her business? And so by freeing up some time and some energy over here and being able to shift something into something she feels excited and energetic about, what if doing that even boosts what's happening over here? What I want you to know is that you can't fuck this up, okay? You can't. What you're building, if you're true to who you are, if you build that masculine container that kind of creates the business structure, and then you are so incredibly you inside of there, you can't fuck this up, okay? What fucks it up is when we try to be everybody else, when we follow all of the shoulds, when and you know, the other thing that we talked about yesterday was she was like, okay, but I'm wondering if, and then there were 6 to 7 different things that she was wondering about. And I said, you're wondering where your energy is going? Holy shit, you're thinking the shit out of everything, right? Like you're overthinking it all. And thinking sometimes, you guys, takes up more energy than actually doing because it spins around in our brains. So what we need to learn to do is trust ourselves. Trust ourselves. Trust that what we're doing is enough, and trust that when we show up as ourselves inside of our businesses, that's what it takes to move your business forward, that's all that it takes to move your business forward. And trust that if you lean back in your business, it's because something is headed your way and you need the energy to like give to that. So I'm never going to advocate for being in and out of your business here and there, blah, 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 because I think that the in and the out, the stop and the start, it's more the stop and the start. I do believe, and I've seen evidence that that is what kind of like kills your business. That I think that's because it's not the stop and the start of like the tasks. It's the in and the out of the energy that kills your business. What you want to keep tapped into is your energy inside of your business. Follow that energy and do what lights you up and be unapologetically you inside of your business, right? And it's almost about asking yourself every single day, like when you wake up in the morning and you're in your journal and you say like, okay, how am I feeling today? And what is it that I want to bring to the world today? And it's why when I'm in super mode, I do all of like my VIP posts to set up my week, to set up that container, to get the things done when I have the energy that feels connected to getting the things done. And then I'm able to lean back, be present with my family when I'm in sparkle mode, be like inside of my journal in hibernation mode, or inside of a book or inside of a podcast or learning or whatever. I've actually kind of learned that when I'm in that kind of like hibernation mode, that learning feels really, really good for me. But I think when we do the things that feel good to us, we naturally want to do more. We naturally connect to it in a better way, and we naturally get to flow inside of our lives. The force has got to stop. I am thinking about putting together a course that is called Healing the Hustler, because that was me, right? Like I was all about hustling. I loved, and I think there's a time and a place for a hustle, right? Like when you know that you've got a big month. So Diana says, and I think this is very natural, this is a struggle for me because I like to have a system in place to know exactly what I need to do in my biz daily. You guys, you know, I'm all about systems. So what I do is I look at the system like a container, right? The system is the container. And I set those up. And then the flow over here is me just like doing what feels good. So I teach you the systems, but it's up to you to kind of like figure out what that works for. So maybe you do this thing every Monday, but maybe you do it in a way that feels good to you, right? Like maybe when you get up on Monday and you're feeling like you're feeling like your energy is drained, but you know that you got to work your own personal business, maybe you kind of create, because the thing is that a lot of us have 9 to 5 jobs, and a lot of us has things that we have to do in our lives. But what if you could still plug into yourself, still honor the energy that you have, and still feel good every single day living inside of that container, right? So maybe it's like you wake up and you're like, feeling a sluggish day today. So you start your day a little bit different. You start it by going for a nice walk, a quiet walk, all by yourself with a podcast or even just with nature. And that feeds into your soul rather than getting up that morning with the push and the pull and being like, nope, I told myself that I was going to do a 45-minute workout, followed by time spent with my family, followed by working my business. What if you woke up that morning and you served yourself first? You were like, what do I desire to do to start my morning? And so you go for your walk and you come back, and feeding your soul in that way actually feels so good to you that you're like, okay, now I can shift into doing some of the things that are on my list inside of my business. And so in super mold, as we would say, or when I'm feeling that like push to just get things done, I zoom through my list. But on a day where I'm just like not energetically wired that day, I do a couple things and then I go do a couple things that feel good for me, right? Thank you. I plug, or if it's a day where I'm just like, I want to be so connected to my family, in between the things that I do, I totally put my phone away and I actually have connected time with the kids. I make the effort to do that, right? And so I think what this means is that not every week is going to be the same, not every day is going to be the same, but it all will fit in. I think that kind of comes back to leaning on that trust. And I truly believe the shift of when this is going to happen is when we start building businesses that are so uniquely us, that it feels good to show up as ourselves inside of our business every single day. Right? It's why I have been going on such a branding journey with my clients. It's why I'm teaching you the structure of the 5 posts a day, but then also teaching you how to live inside of that, how to dance inside of that. Like we talked about, one of the other strategies that we talked about yesterday inside the call was, I was like, okay, you lean back to 3 posts a day, totally fine. Have a spot inside of that day where if something comes up, if your intuition tells you to post something, if you feel excited about posting something or a sale comes up or whatever, have a spot in your day where that post shows up. So for me, I've kind of leaned back a little bit this summer because that was what life looked like. And now, again, like I have days where I'm like, okay, I'm all in, I'm all business. That is what I desire to do today. But I have a spot at my 8 p.m. slot in my VIP group when I feel inspired, when I feel conversational, when I think of a post, when my intuition drops, I use that spot to post it. And so not every day are you going to see a post at that time, but that spot is available when something comes in that I know that I want to share. And that's how I built that structure. That's how I built the system around it to make it work. So when you are feeling that like get shit done day, when you're feeling like that, that's when you kind of build those systems. That's when you ask yourself, have you guys ever got up and you like feel so sluggish and you're like trying to do the things that you know you need to do, but they're taking 150 times longer because your energy is not there? That's exactly what I'm referring to. You would be better to stop what you're doing right then and to go do something that like speaks to your energy, that feels good to you, that serves you. Because what the Soul Mode book actually talks about is that you kind of shift through these modes as you fill those cups, right? So the super mode, the cup that you're filling, is that to-do list, is that structure, is like getting stuff done. When you fill that cup, when you feel like it's plenty, that's when you shift into the next mode. So when you're in bear mode, if you're feeling like hibernating, if you're feeling like just like going inwards, when you go inwards, when you do the things that serve you, that's actually when you will move through that and get to the next mode. And what I love about soul modes and what Carly teaches and coaches on is that super mode always comes after bear mode. So it's like, okay, I know I'm crap, but this isn't going to last forever. And whether you listen to this book or you listen to Cyclical Energies or whatever, what I think we always need to remember as women is that this is not forever. And that goes for every single mode that you could be in. When you are like in that get shit done, even if you want that to last forever, which sometimes I'm like, oh, I wish I felt like this every single day. I actually don't think you would want that, right? Because you want time to be connected with your family. You want time to just like curl up with a book, like all those things. But like that mode will not last forever. You may like, so those are the kind of modes where you're like, okay, I'm going to sign up for a gym membership. I'm going to go every day at 6 a.m., blah, 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 blah. And then you get 3 days in and you fall off and you like criticize yourself. Consistency isn't, I mean, I feel like we need a new word, because I think consistency is just like showing up and leaning in, but like the schedule isn't for everyone. Right? But also when you're in those hibernation modes, when you're feeling like almost vulnerable and exposed and like all the doubts are seeping in, that won't last forever either. Okay, that's really important. You just need to get what you need inside of that mode, inside of that day. You need to serve yourself to fill that cup, and then you get to shift the next day into something different. And even though I had not read this book 2 years ago, I always kind of felt that, right? Like when I would like have a really, really bad day, I'd hunker down that day and I would know tomorrow is going to be a new day. Tomorrow is another opportunity. And you can't screw this up. As long as you are showing up as you, as long as you're building a business that is just so incredibly you, you cannot screw this up. And I feel like that kind of leads me. And so where do you even start with this? I read the book, don't read the book, follow the moon, don't follow the moon, pay attention to, Flow. Is it Flow? I think the app is called Flow, which helped me track my cycles for a while. So I could get used to those things. What I liked about soul modes is I could stop tracking. I could stop paying attention to all these things. Those things felt really overwhelming to me, but I also know that people love those things. It just wasn't something that I felt like I could continually like get on board with. So for me, no, like just whatever you track, it doesn't really matter. Track nothing. But every morning, get up and ask yourself, what do I need today? How do I feel today? How do I desire to show up today? Oh, Diana says, is it awful that I pre-schedule my VIP group posts in batches? No, that's how I do everything. Because to me, when you put activities together and you batch activities together, it's just a really good use of your time and energy. So no, I do that too. I specifically do even more when I'm in that mode, right? Where I'm feeling like doing more. Awesome. Awesome, Emma. And definitely read the book. It's really good and short too. Okay. So how do you build a business? So that's what you do in the mornings. You ask yourself all the questions, right? Like, what do I feel like today? How do I want to show up today? And even if it's your 9-to-5 job, you still have control over large chunks of your day. You still have control over how you show up in the morning, like what you do for yourself to start your day. You still have like choice over what you wear, right? Because different clothes serve us in a different way. Like today, I'm obviously feeling like a little bit like cozy and quiet because I'm in here in a ponytail and a sweatshirt. I didn't feel motivated, inspired to get up and do my hair. Like it just is a different mode for me today, right? So you'll find that even when I do trainings, so the structure on Wednesdays is that I'm here at 9 delivering a masterclass, right? That's the structure. But the flow inside of that is how I'm dressed when I show up, what music I start the live with, where I actually do the live video, what kind of comes through inside of the live video. I could have changed the topic today because I felt called to talk about something different. That's where I get to lean into my energy and my intuition and do what feels like it serves me. All right. Okay. So give me like half a second. We're going to turn the music on for like a couple more seconds. And then I'm going to talk about what is happening in the runway in September. I'm going to talk a lot more about it for the rest of the month because I'm really excited and it's going to be massive and powerful and huge and all the things. And I want every single one of you inside of there. But let me do the music so I can break this down if I need to. Hey, the runway, the runway, the runway. You guys, I'm so excited for the next chapter of the runway. For those of you that have been like following the journey of the runway or in the runway in the beginning since it was Thrive, I feel like it's this beautiful, beautiful program that just gets to change and evolve and grow as almost as I grow as an entrepreneur, as I learn what will serve the members of the runway at a deeper and more powerful level. And this feels like everything coming together. I took the time and the space to really plug into my family, to plug into my life this summer. And what has come out of it has been all of these like incredible downloads of all the like new programs that I'm going to bring to you, new client journeys that we're going to go on, and this incredible program inside the runway. So what is the runway right now? Right now it is a monthly theme, and we kind of go deep on different topics. We do a lot of trainings and a weekly call with our runway coaches, our community coaches, so that you can plug into other members, throw ideas around. Like it's honestly, it's incredible as it is right now. And then there's a back end hub that will take you through so much good training, like whatever you want. It's kind of self-paced. You can do what you want and what serves you in that moment. What is the runway going to be in the next chapter? The next chapter in the runway is going to be more about the journey, right? We're going to be going from the ground up. And it doesn't matter where you're at in your business, because I know even 7 years into my business, I know this is good because I need this, right? Because I will benefit from going on this journey with you inside of my business. And so we're going to be going from the ground up and building every area in your business in a way that feels really aligned to who you are, what your purpose is through your business, knowing that every single one of us is unique. Every single one of us joins for a different reason. Every single one of us has a different purpose inside of our businesses, and we're going to be crafting that together. So starting September, and you know, in the beginning when I was talking about this with the runway members, I said, we're going to have 1 month for this, 1 month for this, 1 month for that. And then I thought, you know what? That's even too stringent. We are just going to go on a journey, and it'll loosely be defined on the months. But when we need more time in an area, we will take more time. When we can knock it out in a couple of weeks, we will knock it out on a couple of weeks. So we're going to basically be starting at ground zero, which to me is branding your business, figuring out what your core messages are, figuring out who you are inside of that business, how you desire to show up, coming up with your color schemes, some Canva training, like all of that, like the branding is so powerful, and what I really think will make the difference for network marketers. I think when we start network marketers, we're handed the branding, right? We're handed the business in a box, and I want to take that box back, open it up, and make it us. I want every single one of you to be building a very different business, a unique business, and one that feels really good for you. Because when it feels good for you, it's going to click in a way that has never clicked before. This is going to be the difference that lights that fire, that ignites that fire, right? So we're going to start with branding. And then we're going to move on to onto Facebook training. And then we're going to go on to Instagram training. And then we're going to go into sales training. And it's going to be an entire year together spent doing everything inside of your business that you need to take your business to the next level. And so when I said, are you ready for more? It doesn't matter where you are right now, because every single person will grow through this journey. Every single business is going to feel aligned to who you are. So if you've ever felt like you have been trying to follow the shoulds, trying to do the strategies that work for other people, trying to figure out who you are in this business, this is the journey that you want to take. Okay. And I have set it up in a totally unique way, and that it's now I'm going to have, basically it's going to be a yearly fee. You're going to be with me yearly. And can you join throughout the year? I haven't completely decided yet what that's going to look like. We will take that as it comes. But I am like having a major intro pricing for anybody that signs up to go on this journey for the year together. So it's just going to be $222 until the end of August. And then it will be shifted to $333, which is what it was for a year-long membership before, but $111 difference to get you to say yes to yourself, to get you to go on this journey and to commit to really taking your business to the next level and seeing what is possible for you, right? Following that, knowing who I am and following that energy and building that masculine container, but living and dancing inside of it and having so much fun with your business. That's what I want for all of us, right? That's what I want. And what is that going to look like, right? So we're going to talk about branding. Inside of every single topic, there is going to be so much goodness, so much richness. So I will be doing trainings. I will be leading workshops. I will be doing live Q&As. You're still going to get those touch points with the community coaches where you can hash things out. We'll be doing what I'm going to call team meetings, which are Zoom calls whenever necessary. The beauty of this is every single topic is going to be different, right? So we're going to serve it in a different way. For branding, I'm likely going to run some live workshops so that we can come together, hash these things out, bounce your ideas off of me. I'll help to give you some direction on where to take your branding. My thought is that some Canva training would be really beneficial in that area as well. So it's like I'm going to go all in on every single one of those topics, and we're going to grow this and build this together. And after the year, holy smokes, think about the course and the program that is going to be built. Think about where your business could be when you go on this journey. So till the end of till the end of August, it's going to be 222. I haven't created a link for it yet. I will create it. But if you know you want in at that introductory price, shoot me a message and I will hook you up. If you are already a Runway member, I know I talked about this in the group, but you are more than welcome to take advantage of that introductory price as well. You are also totally fine to keep on your monthly membership. Little bit different for you guys. Anybody who comes into my world gets grandfathered in at what they sign up as. So, which means that if you sign up for the 222 and it comes time and next year you're like, yeah, Lori, I want to stay in this. I want to stay with you on this journey. You will still get to take advantage of the 222. So it's like this magical, powerful thing. And who knows where we will be at a year from now in terms of pricing and structure and all of that. So I cannot wait. I think September is going to be this massive month, and we all know that it kind of aligns with a massive time in our businesses. And so how incredible would it feel to have that support during some of the busiest months of our businesses in the year? If you have any questions, drop them below. Send me a personal message. I will be in here for the next 2 weeks. Is that how much longer we have in August? How is that possible? To talk about it, to answer questions, to tell you more, to share my vision, to really deep dive into what to expect. But just know that every single topic is going to be supported deeply with masterclasses, with trainings, with hands-on workshops, that those are what are helpful, with live Q&As, with maybe behind the scenes information, whatever it takes. I've also already started to line up some expert trainers that in certain areas, when I'm not completely an expert, I will bring them in and we will look at a lot of different standpoints, a lot of different things. So Diana says she's excited. Me too. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, you guys, love you. Shoot any questions my way. I cannot wait to explode this year with you.